Hello everyone, I want now to show the solution for Homework 2. So in Homework 2 we needed to build Airflow doc for ingesting yellow taxi data. So we need it for years 2020 and 19, and then for hire vehicles, and then for zones data. Okay, yeah, so this was the homework, and for doing this homework I use a cloud virtual machine instance. So what I already have on this instance is I have a clean GitHub repo. So let me check Git status. So only one file is changed there, is Docker Composed. And the only thing I changed there was, so I updated project ID, I updated bucket name in Google Storage, and then I also changed tilde to home, because on Linux, if I leave it with tilde, it doesn't always work. So I have the same problem on Windows as well. So I need to change that. And yeah, I think I already built it. So Docker. Also, I have this .env file with Airflow ID, so that I already did. And I think so I already built what I needed. So if I do docker compose build, that should be quite fast. Yeah, because I already built this. It's in a cache. And then let me do docker compose up. So now everything will start. I don't know if I did init or not. Maybe I have done this, but yeah, actually it's not. Because when I do docker compose add, init is executed anyways, so it should be fine. And then, so this is a remote computer, and I am connected to this computer with Visual Studio Code, and I already configured port forwarding. So now if I go to a browser and do localhost 8080, when it starts, it hasn't started yet, I guess. When it starts, I should have access to Airflow. So yeah, I think I already did init, because Airflow already exists in the database. So it still hasn't connected. Probably the web interface takes a bit of time to start. And as you see, I use the official setup, so it's not like a stripped down version. Okay, I think this thing means that it's ready. Let me see. Oh, yeah, it was probably from web server says that, yeah. Let me try one more time. Okay, why it is starting? What I will do now? Oh, yeah, it started already. Airflow. Okay, we have one DAG here, the DAG we had from the videos, from the lectures. Now go away. So the DAG that we have from the lectures. Now what we need to do is we need to turn this DAG into this, what we had in the homework. So for that, I will not enable it now. What I will do is, okay, let me go there. So we have this data ingestion DAG here. And now I want to change it a little bit. So I will change a few things here. So first of all, we need to execute this for, let me open this. So I'll now copy a lot of things from this data ingestion local. This is another script that we wrote together in one of the videos. So this is a script for ingesting data locally. So now I want to copy these things to the other file. So to this one. Yeah, so what I want to do, the first thing is I need to change this schedule interval and start date. So these are the things when it will start running. We need, so start date, I think I'll just put it here. So start date is we want to start ingesting data from 2019. So this will be the start date. Schedule interval. So this is the second day of each month at 6 a.m. UTC. So this is fine. And then we need to set up catch up to true, because we want to go back in the history. So catch up is set to true. max RTF runs. Maybe we want to have 3 things running in parallel. And yeah, apart from that, so I will not change anything here. I'm not sure actually owner Airflow if it's doing anything. So start date we override here. Yeah, the rest is fine. So I will remove this node because it takes some space. And maybe I will also use it. Yeah, for now we can just leave it like that. So now we need to do 3 things. So we need to download the dataset. So we'll use bash operator for that. Then we need to turn this CSV file into Parquet file. So we will use this operator. Then let me remove that. So then the third thing we need to do is we want to upload this to GCS. We will have that as well. So this thing we don't need. So this is for creating an external table. I will show you at the end how to do it through the web interface. We will not need this step here. I will just show you in the video, in the week 3 video, how I do this. And then I also want to remove that. Okay, so we only have 3 tasks. And now I want to adjust it. So first thing, I want to take this bash command. Let me start with this. So the prefixes. So I will copy them here. And I will change these names slightly. So it's because we will have multiple data sets. So that's why I want to make it clear that this URL template is for yellow taxi data URL template. Then we have output file template. So I'll call it yellow taxi CSV file template. And table name, we don't need table name because we're not putting this to Postgres. So I will need, I can remove this. And yeah, so let's start with the first task. So the first task is download dataset task, which is this curl. I changed it. So yeah, we already have L here. I want to also add -f flag, which will cause this operator to fail if this URL, dataset URL, does not exist. So if we try to download something, but it returns 404, then this bash operator will fail. This is what we need. So we don't want to have a green box if something is failing. So that's why we need this F. And now I will replace this dataset URL with this thing. And I will replace this local path with this thing. Right? So the next thing we need to do is we need to adjust this Python operator format to Parquet task. So we already have our source file is this. Actually, I can replace the whole thing like that. So this will be the source file. I also want to adjust this function a little bit. So we have source file. I also want to add destination file. So I just like it to have it more explicit, so we have a bit more control over what's happening here. So then we have this destination file that we can put here to this function. And yeah, so we have 2 parameters. Let me copy the name of the second one. And I will add it here. And the destination will be, I can just copy it. So it will be Parquet. And I will just replace this with Parquet. And then one other thing, so when we run multiple jobs in parallel, we can accidentally overwrite other files. So to make it more explicit, instead of calling it output, I will call it yellow trip data. And here, yellow trip data. So when we also download for hire vehicles, we don't accidentally overwrite it. So we have this Parquet file, which I will put here. So now this job format to Parquet will get 2 parameters, source file, which will be the CC file, and destination, which will be the Parquet file. Then the third job we have here is uploading to Google Cloud Storage. And here we have 3 parameters, so bucket, object name, and local file. So local file we already have. This is our Parquet file. So let me put it here. And this one is a remote location in the bucket. So let me take it away and I will create another template here. So I will call this template yellow taxi DCS template, or DCS path maybe. And I don't actually remember. I think it starts without slash at the beginning. So it's something like row, then the name. Here I want to add a bit of structure in this path. So I want to have a structure like with paths. So we will have a path for each type of the data set. We will have a folder for yellow trip data. We will have a folder for hire vehicles and so on. And then we can add even more structure. So perhaps after this, we will have a folder with a year. And then with this, within this folder, we will have different records there. So here I will have this formatting. So this will be just year. So it will be yellow trip data / 2019 / and let's say yellow trip data. I'll just copy this thing. Parquet. So this will be the name of our Parquet files in Google Cloud Storage. So let me put it here. Oops. So the subject name. So we have bucket, we have template, we have local file. And then let me take a look at the homework. I think there was another suggestion is that we can, because these jobs will generate a lot of temporary files, it could be a good idea to get rid of these files so they don't consume a lot of space. Let me add another task here, another bash operator. I will call this bash operator rm task, which will be executed here after we did everything. And this will remove, so I'll do rm, it will remove CSV file as well as the Parquet file. Okay, something like that. Okay, let's see if there are any mistakes. So I'll go to this one. Now we'll restart it. So there are import errors. Let's see what is there. Invalid syntax line 73. So let's see what we have in line 73. We do not have this comma here. And I'm wondering if we actually import data. So we don't need this thing. And we need from date time import date time. Okay, and by the way, in this thing we don't need this, but we need Airflow home. Yeah, so I'll call it Airflow home. And this thing just takes a lot of screen space. I will make it a little bit, so I'll remove documentation. And this thing was needed for small, like for slow internet. In Cloud VM, the internet is fast, so I'll just remove it. So then it doesn't take a lot of space on the screen. So yeah, I think apart from that, let me add a line break here. So I saved now. Let me go here and refresh. I will give it a different name. So I will call it yellow taxi data. Yeah, so we'll have multiple. And probably, yeah, let me also change it the name here. the name of the duck. I don't think we explicitly used this variable anywhere. Okay, let me refresh it. Okay, now it's yellow taxi data, and I will try to enable this and then see what happens. I am not sure if I have any errors there. Okay, yeah, why it's already success. Something is strange. Okay, I was actually figuring out what's going on with this, so why it's looking like that. I tried renaming the duck, adding v1, v2, and so on. I tried pruning everything, none of this worked. Tried deleting other ways and creating a new one, didn't work. I don't know why. Somehow Airflow keeps a record somewhere, and every time I start, I see this in the logs. So it says that this duck with this name, with this duck hash, so it keeps a memory of it somewhere. It finished successfully, it has finished successfully in the past. So now I am not just doing anything, and that's why Airflow marks this as success and doesn't even attempt to execute this. This is very annoying because I thought I could just delete a duck, add v2, create a new one, and then it will just work. Doesn't seem like it, and but I think I did find a solution. So you see here, this one, it actually attempted to do something. So the way I did this is I logged into one of the Airflow containers. For that I did docker ps, and then I did docker exec it, then I think I went to the web server, it doesn't matter exactly, and then I do bash. And then here we have this command Airflow, which we can do to do different things with Airflow. And one of the things I did this backfill, and then backfill, so Airflow duck's backfill kind of forces this duck to backfill. And then one of the keys there that we can have is reset backgrounds, and then we can provide start date and end date. So this is what I did. Let me do it for 2020, 21 maybe. Let me just do it till the end of the last year. So I will execute that, and now I'll need to do it here. So I don't know why it's okay. Let me try one more time, and now it's better. So now it should. So I have start date. I have end date. Yes, I am sure I want to delete these 4 tasks. So these tasks are these ones that it tried. So I have them. When I was experimenting with this thing, I executed that. So that's why, they are. It attempted to run those. Yes, I'm sure. Okay, I'm not sure what's happening. Let me just clear it from here. I have no idea what's going on. I hope it works from here. So it is working from here. I mean, it's cute. Let me do the same, but for I'll do month February. And now it started to add things to the queue. So yeah, this one's. I don't know why this one is not being executed. Yeah, I'll figure this out later. Yeah, it is working right now. Hopefully, let me check. Oh, I see that it's green. So now let's see this one. Okay, it's cute. Now it is running, and while it is doing this, let me go to, yeah, so this is the bucket where it is uploading. I will refresh now, and maybe I will see something. Nothing yet. Okay, it is still running. It should be actually quite fast. I don't know why it's taking so long. Let me check the logs. Yeah, like it's working. Yeah, it shows only the last one, so we don't see things from the past from 19 year. So then I select 100 runs and then it shows. Okay, now it executed that. Yeah, it uploaded. Yeah, so now we have data for February, March, and April. And I don't know why I decided to skip this one. Maybe I will just need to selectively retrigger them somehow. Okay, while it's working, so let me go here to DAX. And what I want to do now is we need to populate, to create more, to put more data to our bucket, to our storage. And for that, what we can do is, one thing we can do is we can just copy paste everything, right? And then change a few things and then call it a day. That will also work. We will have all the data we need. But what I want to do is I want to create a function and to be able to reuse this stuff. Because you see, like all the jobs that we will need to create here, like this bash operator, Python operator, bash operator, they are all the same for all the DAGs that we will create here for copying for hire vehicles and for copying zones. They will be the same. So it doesn't make sense to copy paste the same code. What I want to do is I want to put this in a separate function, and in this function I want to create these steps and then just invoke this function for different DAGs, for different tasks. So let me start with this. So I will create this function as I don't know, maybe download packetize upload DAG, and then it will have a bunch of parameters. So the first parameter will be the actual DAG, so this DAG, and then we will need this URL template. Then we will need local CSV file template or path. Then we will need local Parquet file template, Parquet path template, and we will need also GCP GCS path template. I think that's all we need. And we will follow the same syntax with something. So let me copy all this here. So then I will do with DAG, and then I will paste all this stuff here. And here we will need to now replace this yellow taxi URL template with URL template, and this thing here also. Then I use some multi-select thing, so I use Ctrl D. So then I go here, I select it, and then press Ctrl D multiple times. You see all these things are selected. Then I press V to replace it. And then I think I replaced all the parameters here except this one. So object name, which will be GCS path template. Okay, so that's how we do this. Packetize. I think this is how to write Parquet. And now I want to use it here. So let me copy the parameters. So here DAG will be this. Actually, we don't need the with statement because we have the with statement here inside. So I will just create this DAG here first, like this, and then remove this thing here, and remove indentation, and then the DAG will be yellow taxi data DAG. Then URL template will be this taxi, yellow taxi URL template. Then CSV file template will be this local Parquet file, this, and GCS this. And let me remove the rest. Okay, I save it. Then I go to Airflow, refresh it. It doesn't complain about anything. Maybe it works, I don't know. Well, these things are still being executed. And I think it did quite a lot, so it's already doing 2020, sorry. So it will soon catch up. So I don't know why it's doing something like this. It's cute. Maybe it will try to execute it after this one is done. I don't know. And this one is not. Okay, I will look at this later. But what I see here, it doesn't have any errors here on the top, which means it's probably okay. Now let me create something for, well, let's take green taxis. So I know green taxis wasn't a part of our homework, but I want to do that as well. And also in week 4, I think we will need green taxis. So let's also do that for green taxis. So replace it here, green taxi. And then I will need to know the name. So it's this website. So green taxi, I'll copy the URL. So URL is trip data, green trip data. So I will need to replace this thing. So yeah, I've just replaced yellow by green everywhere. And I will need to also replace here green, then green taxi data v1, and then maybe I will execute it at 7 a.m. also starting from this date, green taxi data, and then I will replace it, this yellow with green everywhere. That looks quite simple and easy. I don't know if it will actually work right now, so I saved now. Let me go to Airflow and refresh it. And we see it here. So let me see how this one is doing. Yeah, it's still executing. So yeah, I think this one is from August. In August, this is the time when we don't have data for August. So I think it's okay. I just need to figure out why this one hasn't run. I think maybe I can trigger this separately. But let me just execute this for green data as well. And hopefully this should work, because I have not attempted to download green taxi data before, so it shouldn't be cached anywhere. Let's see. Even though it shouldn't, it just marks everything as, I don't know, I think I used Ketchup True. I don't know why it's, let me look at the solution that I have. So I have a solution here, and yeah, in my solution, I don't see anything different from what I did now. Maybe retries 0. That's weird. Okay, but yeah, for some reasons it just says, I think if I go to logs, I can see that, yeah, somewhere it says marking this yellow taxi successful. Does it not say anything about green? Yeah, I don't see this in logs. It's probably somewhere here, but yeah, for some reasons it just doesn't execute it. Let me see at least what it's doing for yellow. Yeah, this one will fail right now. Okay, let me see here. This is actually logs from the thing where we did the backfilling. Okay, let me just do another SSH. So sshd zoom camp, and then I do docker ps, and then I do docker exec -it, and then yeah, let me also use web server again and bash. And now I will do the same command, except here I will use green taxi v1, and yeah, just execute that. And now it started sending this to the queue. So if I make 100 here, I should be able to go back and see. Okay, yeah, now it is executing these things. Cool. So while it's doing that, let us do for hire vehicles. So we have this for hire vehicle trip records. So let me copy them. This, so I'll just paste this here, and I will copy this, paste, and I will replace green with for hire vehicles. Here also for hire vehicles, and then I will replace, as we see, like the prefix is FHV. So I will just replace green trip data with FHV green trip data, like that. Yeah, I think that should work. And then let me just execute it at 8 a.m. on the second day of every month. And yeah, of course I need to change this thing here, so it will be FHV, and then I replace here FHV. So I saved. Now I go to Airflow, go back, and I should see it here. I'm wondering what happens if I click play now. It will mark everything successful or not. Let's see. Yeah, that's annoying. I don't know why it's doing that. Yeah, maybe I'm just... Oh, what happened? This is the first one, right? So let me go back to green data and see what's yellow data, sorry, and see what's happening there. So for yellow data, yeah, this thing didn't run, so let me just try to clear it. I don't know if it will help. And this one, maybe let me also try to clear it. Okay, I don't know why it's not doing this. I probably can execute this manually. I will not spend time on that right now. Why it's still running, by the way? It should be failing. Anyways, so I will not spend time on that right now. What I will do is I will now replace this with for hire vehicles. It's V1, and we only need it for year 2019, so I think I'll just do it like that. I don't know if it's inclusive or not. Let me just see if like I'll just run and see if it doesn't run for December. I'll just execute this manually. And this thing is running. Cool. So this is green data. Okay, what's the name of this thing? I have a typo here, so it's heifer. Okay, typos happen. Okay, so this one, actually for this thing, I think I should have also added end date here. So let's say something like date time 2021, something like that. And then we need to run one more thing. We need to run the thing for zones. So it will be zones. And for zones, the URL is, this is taxi zone lookup table. And yeah, so let me just copy this whole thing and put it here. So we don't have any parameters here. So we just have, yeah, because it's constant, it's the same for all the days. Then this one, I'll just call, yeah, we can remove this whole thing. I don't like this plus, I'll just remove this. And the same for Parquet file. And here will be something like this. Maybe I'll remove lookup from here. And we need to rename this duck here, zones, then zones. And I just paste the same thing here. Like that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't need taxi here, right? Okay, save. And start date, it doesn't matter, can be maybe days ago one, like we had, end date, no end date, and we need to run it only once, because it's the same thing, we just need to run it once. And yeah, I save it. Now I go to Airflow, refresh it, and enable this thing. So hopefully this one doesn't cause any problems. Yeah, because it doesn't need to go in the past. Oh, that was fast. So let me actually go to the storage and check. So I already have this for hire vehicles data, which it doesn't still have the January. So the January one has a lot of, like it's quite huge, it's quite big. It downloaded the rest. So I need to check that. For zones, we have the file here. It's quite small. Oops. So let me go back. And this green tip data, yeah, I think it did, yeah, it's smaller. So let me go back to Airflow and see in DAX and see what's happening there with for hire vehicles. Okay, it didn't attempt it because I think for this one, did I not add the end date? Yeah, I did end date. Maybe let me call it V2. Then Yeah, maybe it's actually a bad idea because now I need to delete the old one, restart. Let me just name it back, and then I'll change the path here. Yeah, and what I'll do is I'll just make it 100 here, and then I want to see what's happening here, why I didn't run this one. So maybe somehow I can make it run. So maybe if I do start date a little bit earlier. You see, actually I used February here. Okay, no wonder it didn't run the January one. And like that. So hopefully it should work. Yeah, it is adding this thing to the queue. Let's see. No, it's running now. Okay, and for green, yeah, we saw that for green, I think everything was fine. I don't know why I didn't do April, but I want to see on the yellow one. So on the yellow one, we had some problems. So the problems, so this one for January 2019. So let me check that. It's still doing green one. Okay, I'll just create another tab. So this one, now I'll do docker ps and docker exec -it, then web server, then bash. I don't think it matters that I'm doing this from web server or worker, or it doesn't matter, they probably are connected to the same Airflow. And now I'll just copy this thing. No, not this one. Did I close it? Too bad. Okay, so I think I did close it. So I'll copy this and put it here. No, without line break. Okay, I'll first copy it here. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, maybe while I'm here, I'll do a yellow taxi. So from January till, yeah, like that. So exactly, I just need it for 1 month. Let me run it. Yeah, because it's B2, right? Yes, I'm sure. Okay, I have no idea what's going on here, and it will probably take me some time to debug this. I don't know. In the worst case, I can just run this locally and upload this to Google Cloud Storage, which is what I'll probably do to be ready for week 3. I kind of feel sorry now for you that you had to go through all that, because this is very annoying. Anyways, I think so for hire vehicles, the backfilling is done. Let me check this. Yeah, so this one. And you see that actually the question we had, so maybe let's go through this question. So for this one, start date for yellow taxi data, this is the 1st of January, right, on 2019. Then frequency, we run it monthly. And then DAG for hire vehicles. So the question is how many DAG runs are green after finishing everything. So these things are DAG runs. So these columns, and we have 12 of them because there are 12 months, right? I hope it's 12 here. It looks like 12. So the question, the answer there is 12. And then DAG for zones, we need to run it only once. So these are the answers. Now we uploaded the data to our bucket, and I want to show you how to create a BigQuery table with this data. So in week 3 you will see this, and this is actually, I have a query, so this is the query Ankush used, except that in his query he used CSV, and because he used transfer service to transfer the data. And now I want to show you how you can create an external table in BigQuery using the data that we just uploaded. So for that we need to go to the bucket that we use for storing the data, and we need to look at the location of this bucket, which is Europe West 6 Zurich. Now I need to go to my project in BigQuery, create a dataset. Dataset ID could be NY taxi. Data location, it will be also the same location, Europe West 6 Zurich. Then I create a dataset, and now I need to compose a new query. So let me copy this thing. So here it says create or replace external table, and now I need to give a name to this table. So it starts with NY writes Alexei, which is a project, then dataset NY taxi, and then I need to give a name of this table, which will be, let's say, yellow trip data. So, and then options, format is Procat, and URIs are the URIs for 2018, 19 data and 2020 data. And since we have a star, it will use everything that is in this folder. And then let me run it. So now it created a new table. So let's go to this table. So it shows the schema of this table, and now we can query this table. So let's query it, and I will use select star from this table, limit 10, then let me run it. And yeah, you see processing location Europe West 6, and it's important. It can tell you, hey, something is wrong with the processing location. Now if you get this, you need to go to query settings, and here in data location you need to choose the same location as your bucket and is your dataset, your BigQuery dataset. So then you click save, and now you can follow the content of week 3. So that's all from me. I hope it was useful. Sorry for a couple of issues. I will try to edit this slightly so these issues are not interfering a lot with you watching this. But anyways, hope you learned something new from this video, and see you next week. Bye.